Hi everybody, my name is Mihai and welcome back to Full on DIY. Today's video is more of a intro of what I'm about to do. As you could probably tell from the title and thumbnail, this whole idea was nagging me for quite some time, actually for really long time, and I just decided to bite the bullet and just go with it. There is something about me which I did not talk about, and it is not that visible at the moment because I'm at the very beginning with my YouTube journey. But to be more specific, that is self-sufficiency. I like to have everything that I need in order to be able to make anything that I want, but not only limited to needs, but also for workshop capabilities expansion, time saving, and cost overall. In all fairness, I'm only a one-man band with regular activity in the workshop. Also, I have a day job as well, and now with the extra time that I have to invest in video editing, sometimes time literally flies away from me like there is no tomorrow. Other than this, I'm also doing a fair bit of work for wheelchair users, like I mentioned in the previous video. I'm using this machine outside of YouTube, so to speak. Um, Hence, the need to expand the capabilities of what I'm going to be able to achieve going forward. And this sometimes requires uh, really complex or intricate parts, which do require a lot of refixturing, change this, change that, tool changes. Sometimes I run very small batches of parts, which again um, does take a lot of time and involvement. And this brings us to today's topic, which is building a CNC or converting to CNC, depending which way you look at it. I have been wanting to build a CNC for about 6 years now, but I've always been put off by self-doubt mostly, asking myself questions like, will I have plenty of use for it? Will I have the necessary budget to build this in a timely manner? What sort of compromises do I have to do, aka space in the workshop and all that, because this thing is not necessarily going to be small. Will it be a money pit, and several other logistical and organizational factors? Well, that decision has been taken now. I will be converting my abomination mill, to call it like that, to CNC. I know it's a classic and I should leave it as it is in its all beauty and glory, but it's for the greater good. The main motivator was the recent head swap on my Harrison mill with a Bridgeport J head, which opened up a whole new world of possibilities. And in theory, I was thinking, how much greater can that get on a CNC? Let's talk axis configuration and specs. The machine will be 3-axis to begin with, and I plan to build a trunnion in the very long future to give me the 4th and the 5th axis. Also, the machine will feature an umbrella style automatic tool changer, but I have not decided just yet on how many pockets or slots the carousel will have. For the mechanics, I will be using a 20 millimeters ball screw by 5 mil pitch for the x-axis, a 16 mil by 5 mil pitch for the y-axis, and a 25 mil by 5 mil pitch for the z-axis, because that's literally the entire weight of the table and the knee and all that. So it has to be a much beefier one. In regards of motors, I will be using servos, 750 watts each for X, Y, and Z axis. For the X and Y, it will be direct drive, but for the Z axis, you will have a 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 reduction. These servos, specifically the ones that I'm looking at, have 2.4 Newton meters of torque. For the controls, I'm looking at using a Mesa card and Linux CNC, but I have not decided which card I'm going to go with. It's still in the very early stage. There are a lot more things that I have to figure out, which I will probably do as I go along with it. Everything that I have been discussing up to this point, these are the only steps that I figured out, just enough to get me started, to be able to convert the machine, aka the motors, the ball screws, and all the malarkey, and how am I going to attach it. Um, for the very fine details, as in which board from the Mesa range and which drives and all of that, that will be for a later time. I have three main criteria that I intend to follow and stick to them, and these are the usage of branded proper components. This thing is going to be no joke, no toy, so to speak. The second one would be to have a capable control system that will allow me to do everything that I want with this machine and be able to customize axis configuration and all that. I am no expert in Linux CNC. It will be a learning journey and probably a pretty steep learning curve. But hey ho, it is what it is. Every day is a school day. We can learn throughout our life up until very late age. And the third one is to be able to run all of this on single phase, regardless how crazy that sounds like. In theory, it is possible. The other option I have is to build a rotary phase converter, which I don't mind doing so, because like that, it will allow me to do many more other things with machinery in the workshop and not having to spend money on VFDs every time when I get a new machine in. But I am concerned about the noise that that thing will make. I cannot put it in the spare room because I have the dining room above it and you can hear that damn thing running. I cannot have it in the garage because it will just interfere with when I'm filming. The only possible option is to have it outside, but that would mean waterproofing it, weatherproofing it, take it outside when I'm using it and I'm filming, bring it back in when I finish. Just thinking of the logistical of that is just way too much. Hence, I'm aiming to do this single phase. We'll just see how it goes. But in theory, I have the necessary infrastructure for the power and wiring to be able to do this. If you're wondering what the building sequence will be, well, I will be starting with the x-axis because it's the easiest one to do. It's just two bearing blocks at the end and a support for the ball nut, and it's the easiest one to access. And then I will uh, move all the way down towards the z-axis by doing the y and then the z at the very end. The challenge is that I am only going to be able to make the parts for X and test them on, because after this, going down towards the Z axis, I'm not going to be able to test fit the parts. So in theory, I cannot afford any mistakes really. I will be dismantling the machine once to measure everything, put the machine back in order to have it ready to allow me to make all the parts needed for X and Y. There is not much machining, well, milling on the Z axis like it is on these two. But I intend to not dismantle the machines too many times because, like I said before, I'm using this for other things as well. So I need to have it ready to run at any time. So that will be a bit challenging because I'll have to probably triple check everything and every measurement, but it should be okay. Once I have all the parts ready for the 3 axis, only then I will dismantle it fully, swap it to the ball screws and ball nuts and everything. And also the beauty of this will be that I will still keep the manual controls. So I will just attach the hand wheels, and I will just be able to use it manually like that with the new hardware before it's going to be um, having the motors installed and all that control system. And lastly, the final detail, this whole thing will be enclosed because I want to be able to use a flood coolant without worrying that it's going to go everywhere, it's going to ruin the floor, it's going to go on the walls, what's going to happen with the swerve. And in regards of swerve, last year I ended up building a chip tray made out of fiberglass, but it has happened at such a time in the year when the rainy season was quickly approaching and the weather was very unpredictable. It kind of messed it up a little bit whilst I was laminating outside, and I had to let it cure for like 3 weeks to get rid of the water that has embedded in the resin, and then I had to literally sand the life out of it to get rid of the dodgy layer of fiberglass. And then I waited for the nice weather to come back, and then I started again, laid some more fiberglass, and then I had sealed it with like a top coat. And sun decided to blast one time at almost bloody full intensity, and it cured the top coat a little bit prematurely. That's why I haven't used it. I don't know whether I'm going to make another one or just use that one. End of the day, it will just end up being trashed by me dropping things on it and by the swerve and the coolant and all that. So in one of the upcoming videos, I will have to drag it out of the shed because it's taking quite a lot of space there anyway, and I'm being told off for it. So yeah, I will just bring it here, test fit it on the machine, see how it goes, see the footprint, and that will probably tell me exactly how big this enclosure will be. Ideally, I want it to be as small as possible so that it doesn't take too much space other than whatever is necessary for the X to move to absolute full travel left and right, and for the tool changer arm with the carousel, however big that is going to be. Well, this is my plan. We'll just have to see how it goes in the upcoming videos. At this very moment, I don't know for sure whether I have to take a 2 weeks break from uploading or not, because I have the servos and the ball screws on order, and they are currently waiting to be shipped out. The ball screws and the motors, I bought them from this contact that I have in China. They deal with custom machinery builds, and they have access to high quality ball screws and servos. And I've been working with this person before for other projects that I had, and I was quite happy with their services. Please stay tuned to see the progress of this conversion. It will probably be a long series of episodes, depending on how much I can manage to get done. And I need to figure out how am I going to split each axis in regards of like one video per axis or 2 videos per axis. We'll just have to see how it goes. That's all I have for today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.